So I wanted to tell a little story to you today about a time when I was studying abroad in Austria. Uh, we were in this little town called Gaming, and to get to the train station, it was a 2 kilometer walk, so we would often hitchhike. And this one day I was traveling with two of my friends, and we came out, we started walking, and I realized I forgot my camera. So I ran back in, I said, go ahead, I'll meet you guys. And we all had to get picked up or we weren't gonna make the train. We didn't have enough time. And so as soon as I came back out of where we were staying, I got a ride and I thought, this is great, I'm gonna make it. And I see my friends as we're coming to town. And the person I was traveling with didn't speak any English. I knew enough to say train station. And but when I saw my friends, I was like, pick them up. And he was like, pick them up. And I was like, this is great. He's gonna pick them up. And we keep seeing pick them up back and forth, back and forth. And he starts to slow down as we get to them. And I'm like, yes, pick them up. But he doesn't stop. And we're still saying pick them up. And he's like laughing and I'm like frustrated. And my friend Brian's sprinting after us, trying to catch up. And it was obvious that he thought pick them up meant something else. And I still to this day don't know what he thought pick them up meant. But it's a good reminder for us that sometimes we can use words, and not be meaning the same thing. And so Pope Francis, re-invites us to consider holiness. And in the third chapter of his apostolic exhortation, he starts to talk about holiness in light of the Master. And he uses the Beatitudes to really look at this picture of who Jesus is and what holiness means to Jesus. When Jesus gives us the Beatitudes, he says, blessed or happy are they. And this is really kind of a synonym, for holiness. So what does it mean to be holy? Jesus kind of flips that upside down, flips upside down what most people look at as blessing. He talks about being poor. He talks about being meek and humble of heart. He talks about being a peacemaker. He talks about being hungry and searching for righteousness. And really, it's about how we live our lives and the attitudes that we approach things with. And I want to focus on, I think that first one, that blessed are the poor in spirit. This great reminder that it's not about the stuff that we have. It's really about who we are and who we are in God. And actually, sometimes God takes the most broken part of us. He takes the most, the brokenness in our lives and uses that. He uses that poverty to show off his riches. And as he goes through the Beatitudes, and I would invite you this week to reflect on the Beatitudes, to read them, to think about what they mean as we look at holiness. Because Pope Francis says the Beatitudes are the calling card of Christians. That is who we are and what we're all about. He also talks about, after the Beatitudes, he talks about the great criterion, which is when Jesus says to people, and he talks about the judgment, he talks about how people will say, like, wait, when did I feed you? When did I clothe you? And he says, it's what you did for the least of these. And there's this quote that he uses from Pope John Paul II, St. John Paul the Great, where he just reminds people that if we want to be like Jesus, we should look at the people that Jesus spent his time with, the people whom Jesus loved. And Jesus spends time with the poor, the broken, the downtrodden. And so in our lives, if we want to be holy, we must go after, we must serve, we must try and take care of the least of these in our lives and in the world. But one of the great reminders he has at the end of this chapter, though, is that we're not just supposed to be like a Christian aid organization, a Christian NGO, an NGO without the spiritual component. Part of being holy is being centered in our prayer. It's really being focused on Jesus and living out of that the service that we do, how we care for the poor, how we care for the abandoned, is out of our love of Jesus, is out of our spiritual life. It's not just to do that in and of itself. We do that to show people who Jesus is. So today, let's look for the least of these in our lives. Let's see those people, let's serve them, and let's show them Jesus by the way we love them.